This is Juice in the Morning, episode 59. You guys are being blessed with the presence of a four-time perennial all-star guest on the podcast. It's Joe Leatherman. Thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that I got to make the trip down to Indy this weekend, spend the weekend with you. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited to do this weekend. I've been thinking about this all week.
You're definitely a fan favorite. I mean, I told Creed McCarthy last week that he was a fan favorite, but you also are a fan favorite in a
that's flattering.
almost a different genre, though, because he's a fan favorite in the music, but when we've talked about film and the stuff that you've done, people have loved it. And it's one of those, gratifying moments when you're walking down the street and you see somebody you know and they're like, yeah, I listened. And it was really cool hearing Joe's story and hearing other people's stories. And it really gets me excited for doing the podcast and, sharing this kind of stuff with you guys. And it's great having guests like you on. I know that this is fourth time for you, but there's a lot of stuff that's going into the work of this podcast, and you guys are going to be seeing some good stuff. I'm really just going out there and emailing people, calling people, texting people, trying to get them involved with the podcast so that you guys can have some interesting content. But he was the lead actor in a independent horror film. So once again, introduce yourself, Joe, just to maybe new listeners. I know the Potter and Family on Twitter has really been pumping me up, and a lot of people have been new listeners just because of that, and they may not know you. So go ahead and just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Like you said, my name's Joe Leatherman, and you talk about Potter and Family. They've been pumping you up a lot lately. You've been giving me a lot of love on Twitter lately, and I've gotten quite a few followers. I know you went out of your way to retweet and like half my timeline, which was awesome. So
anybody that is doing anything on social media, and I'm either friends with you or I associate with you in some sort of form, one way or the other, in social media, just expect that you're going to have at least 1 or 2 days a week where you're just going to get liked and favorited and just bombed on social media. Like, I'm just going to just throw all of your stuff out there because I want everybody to see it.
Yeah, and that was absolutely flattering. I'd love to see that. Just my whole phone full of Juice in the AM retweet favorite.
It almost looks stalkerish,
awesome.
and I apologize.
A little bit, but no, I totally get it. And that's absolutely awesome. I'm so flattered by that. And it, like I said, it did get me a few of the Potter and Family followers.
They're great.
That really, really cool community, and that's not something that I've ever heard of before until your podcast.
Yeah.
So
and
such
somebody,
a cool hashtag.
Somebody kind of gave me some shit on the Twitter timeline for the Potter and Family, because a lot of the people in the Potter and Family do film and television reviews. They do a lot of stuff with media like that. And this guy basically broke it down. He said, Juice in the AM's tweets are movie stuff. And then, like, somebody else that I follow, Juliet Miranda on Twitter, she's a host of a podcast, and like, then there was like one other thing, and it just like it did encapsulate basically everything that I retweet and favorite, because I'm basically using that hashtag and just going through, reading everything, trying to interact with anybody that asks a question or posts something like that they want a response from, because I feel like the more you interact with that crowd, the more you get that interaction back. And that's the biggest thing that I'm going for when I do this, as I want to interact with you guys, the people on Facebook, the people on Twitter, everything.
And that's a genuine interaction too. Like, I've even seen you or other people who were using that Potter and Family hashtag, who were asking questions, looking for advice about their podcast.
Yeah.
And I've even seen you give advice, whatever it may be about. And that's such a cool. It's such a cool thing for a community, especially people who share a passion or share an art form in this kind of medium. That's such a wonderful thing.
It's crazy because people are hitting me up for like advice, and it makes me laugh because I have no idea how like 90% of all of this stuff works. Like, seriously, like this is just completely foreign to me. Like, the last 16 podcasts you guys have heard, it sounds like I'm in a giant auditorium. That's because there was a setting on here that I had flipped and didn't realize it, and then all I had to do was just press this button, and it was good. So but I do appreciate the asking, because what I think is I'm doing this as a hobby / something that I want to turn into bigger someday, and I'm doing it all myself. So if you're asking me a question, you're going to get a goddamn genuine answer, because I'm going to tell you what I did. This is what I did. Like, I'm at 1,400 followers on Twitter, which is not a huge number, but for me, that's huge because my regular Twitter has like 300 followers. And really all it takes is interacting with everybody and really just going out there and sharing your stuff, but also appreciating other people's stuff and consuming their stuff.
I'm gonna call you out real quick, just because I know you told me to talk about me, but you.
Definitely talk about you.
But you called it a hobby. It's not a hobby. I know you well enough. It's not a hobby. You're pursuing this as a passion, and just because it's not your day job right now, it's a passion for you.
Yep.
And it's clear as day that it's a passion for you and that you want to do this
I appreciate
for a living.
that.
So
that you notice it.
Yeah. And I know, I'm sure a lot of your listeners notice that too. Like it's not just a hobby.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It absolutely is.
So speaking of that, though, that's one of the things that I wanted you to tell me about was you have been talking about starting your own podcast. So I want you to tell me the story of how that got started, and I might interrupt every now and then just to kind of ask some questions. Absolutely. But definitely just tell me about that, and I want to hear it because I know that the people following you on your Facebook Live have probably already seen this, but the people listening to me have not probably seen it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So a very, very good friend of mine, his name was Austin Gray. He passed away back in January.
And I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. Far too soon. He was very young and only a few years older than me. And it was unexpected, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
Anytime losing somebody is difficult.
Yeah. It was. I still remember the phone call that I received when I woke up that morning. It was just devastating. It really is, for somebody to just be gone all of a sudden. And Austin was the kindest human being that I've ever known. He was so humble and he was so selfless. He thought of everybody else before himself. He really did.
Not enough people like that in the world.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is because he was so good to everybody that he met, and so kind-hearted. He had the biggest heart in the world, and I really, really, really miss that about him. And but him and I, he worked. See, I worked for a film company like Justin said. I was a star of an independent horror film called Astray, and I work for an independent film company, Open Sign Productions, out of Fort Wayne, and we always worked on set together. And one of my favorite things about working on set was being able to talk to him about movies.
Yeah.
He was his knowledge was uncanny as far as his film knowledge, and I consider myself a pretty big movie geek. I think that I'm pretty well versed in film. And so being able to talk to somebody that can keep up with me and whatnot, it's a good feeling. I
know for a fact that I slow it down sometimes because, once again, I've talked to people about this on the podcast. I watch movies as entertainment, and I have a hard time criticizing stuff because I'm 9 times out of 10 entertained by something. Like, even if it's a terrible movie, like, I'm entertained by the fact that it's terrible. So, like, I'm having a hard time
that's not a bad thing
critiquing it. I just enjoy it.
The movie critic Scott Weinberg, I follow him on Twitter all the time. Like he's so intelligent, and he had a tweet once where he was like, I go into every movie like a sports event. I root for the movie the entire time.
Yeah,
there's not enough of that. Like it's okay to be entertained by movies. Film criticism, I think, gets a bad rap. I've done a little bit of film criticism.
Yeah.
I've done a few movie reviews here and there for a couple of websites.
Yeah.
And just for fun, but I think it's a bad rap.
Yeah.
But I digress.
We're definitely getting off topic. So tell me more about the podcast that you're wanting to start, and like what give me kind of like some details of like, the name and maybe even like what you might be covering subject matter wise.
Absolutely. So when before one of the last conversations that I had with Austin before he passed away, I was on the phone with him on my way home, and he introduced me to a YouTube show, and it also is a podcast called Movie Fights. It's from Screen Junkies. If you're not aware of Movie Fights, maybe Honest Trailers, they're really popular with Screen Junkies. They also do Screen Junkies News.
If you're part of the Potter family, you probably already know about Screen Junkies.
You've probably heard of them before. They're pretty big. They have like 6 million subscribers on YouTube.
I need to get in touch with them.
Yeah, they're a pretty big deal, and I have gotten in touch with them, and I'll get to that in a minute. So Austin introduced me to Movie Fights, and I fell in love with it. I listened to it religiously. I just absolutely love it. And one of the last conversations I had with him, we talked about maybe doing kind of like a fan fight, because him and I actually both submitted videos for a fan fight submission to try to get on.
Yeah.
To try to get on Movie Fights. It's funny because we didn't even talk about it, but we ended up doing the same pitch or the same movie. But anyway, even both of those videos are still on YouTube. So we talked. The last conversation I had with him, we talked about doing just a fan fight like ourselves, just for fun, just like not as like we're trying to take this idea or anything.
Yeah.
Just like as fan service, because we love this. We love this show so much. We talk about it all the time, and it's such a fun thing.
And
the
best form of flattery is imitation.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
And
we wanted to show that
doing a podcast, like basically everything that I do comes from the fact that I literally I don't listen to music almost at all anymore when I'm in the car or going anywhere. I'm listening to a podcast. I have way too many that I follow. I was about to start listing them, but I'm not listing them, but I'm not going to. But basically, I get mad because I'm behind. I can't catch up to all of the shows that I listen to.
Oh, absolutely.
And I might get people probably get annoyed by me because I do talk about it a lot, but really I do it as a method of improving my game. I see them doing Facebook Live videos. Mm-hmm. I want to do a Facebook Live video because I want to do that same thing. I see them doing live shows. I want to do a live show sometime. I don't know when I'm going to.
You're essentially doing your homework every time that you
and I'm
every
doing
time
research.
You put your headphones on. Your homework, your research. You're improving your craft every time that you put your headphones on to listen to a podcast.
And so, how did that get you guys to where you were talking about just now? How did the movie fight thing go, or the fan fight thing?
So unfortunately, it was one of those things, and it was one of those things where we talked about trying to do this. And it never happened. It was I remember saying that let's try to do it this weekend. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't work out. That's okay. We can always plan for another time.
Yeah. And just to interrupt you really quickly, those of you that are listening, and if you have an idea and there's something that you want to do and you haven't done it just because of the situation that we're talking about where, I have that happen to me on a regular basis, it's not going to work out. I'm not going to do a podcast today. What changed the game and what has made this way better than what it was previously, and what has improved the game and improved, my social media presence, talking to you guys live, it is literally just doing it and just no excuses. I'm just going to do it. So if you have the opportunity, do it. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad about it. I'm just trying to get to the listeners.
Trust me, I want to say the same thing. Please do it.
Just do whatever you want to do.
Because we so often what happened? Life happens.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Life happens.
I did interrupt, and I apologize.
No, you're absolutely fine. Life happens, and schedules got bunched, and it didn't work out.
Yep.
But then life happens.
Yeah.
And I don't have that opportunity anymore because Austin passed away.
And that's a learning moment for anybody listening.
And Austin and I always talked we always jived so well with our conversations about film. We always talked about wanting to do a podcast. In fact, so that was the last phone conversation that I had with him. The last text that he sent me was about a microphone deal on Amazon. It was like a $200 microphone that I got for like $16. It was just like a couple hour deal. So he sent me that in a text message, and I did buy it. I still have it. And
you'll never not have that.
Yeah, and that was our goal. We wanted to start a podcast together because we love talking about movies.
Yeah.
So why not put it to this form?
And I've seen you do a couple like soft opens. Where would people find you if they're wanting to check it out and kind of hear your thoughts on film and thoughts on just in general life?
So because of that, I'm going to back up just a little bit before I get to that. Because of that reason, recently Austin has been on my mind quite a bit, and I was having a conversation with my best friend Cam Carey, and
love you, Cam. I know you always watch.
Yeah, hopefully he's watching. I know I text him to make sure that he did. But we were having a conversation about it, and I asked the question. We were just hanging out real late at night, and I just asked the question. I was like, I wonder what Austin would want from me if there in the afterlife, if he took some time and he decided to think about me, like what would he want from me in my life now, and what would he want out of it, and I was thinking about that a lot, and then one night I actually reached out to Andy Signor, who is the founder of Screen Junkies, who is the host of Movie Fights, and I kind of told him that same story about us trying to do movie fights, and he passed away too soon. And he actually he followed me on Twitter, and he messaged me and offered to do a tribute to Austin on Movie Fights. And he also said, because I told him that I wanted to start a podcast in Austin's name, he also said that he would love to be on the podcast once I get it off the ground. And like I said, Screen Junkies has 6 million followers or 6 million subscribers on YouTube. That's an outs. Like this isn't a small time. It's not a small time group of people.
No,
it's a big deal, and I just couldn't believe it. And suddenly I realized I got my answer.
Yeah,
Austin, clear as day, answered me.
Yeah,
and it was so clear to me that I need to do this podcast. Yeah. I need to create this podcast
good connection.
In his name. And a good friend of mine, Christian Nash, he actually suggested a name for me and for the podcast, and he called it Gray Matter.
And I think if that doesn't exist already, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like that's
I know.
Literally
like
that's perfect. I feel the name of it being like because of the brain being called gray matter, and then what you were I'm assuming about to say, which is,
with Austin Gray is his last name.
Yeah.
So Gray Matter would be
so perfect.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful play on words, and
props to that dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So awesome. And so that's the goal, is to really create a podcast in his name. So I don't have the equipment or honestly the time right now.
Yeah. But what I want to throw out there is this stuff it's expensive, but I'm never going to have to get more. Like, I mean, obviously I'm going to have to upgrade, get more mics and things like that. But
some interns.
Yeah, exactly. I need a freaking intern. People out there, like, come on. You don't have one day a week that you can't just hang out and do the podcast. I mean, we drink beer.
We'll supply beer.
Yeah, absolutely. But you will get that stuff and you'll get it off the ground. And I think that it's going to be a very good thing for you, and I think it's also going to be a good thing for the people listening and watching, because it's all about a routine, and I have my routine. I wake up, I download my podcasts, I listen to them while I eat my breakfast and drive to work, and I think
keeping a schedule is so important.
And I think that you doing that is going to be something that's good for you because you can. It's basically your platform to talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about.
Yeah,
and that's what I use it. I use it on a regular basis just to get stuff off my chest, because if I just sat and didn't talk about the things that I thought about all the time, I'd probably explode. Like, and I know that people, talk about therapy. I've considered it, but I would say doing this podcast.
I've taken therapy. It's
I would say talking to people and doing this podcast is almost like my therapy. Like, it's literally like it gets me to be able to talk about the things that I want to talk about. And once again, it's going to be gray matter. We're going to help him get this started. If he ever moves to Indy, he could use this equipment and we could just let him do that.
Hell yeah.
And I would want to be on the podcast every now and then. But once again, Joe Leatherman, watch his Facebook Live videos that have been already posted. He's doing it right now as well.
Yeah. So I'm on that. That's the whole reason for the Facebook Live videos. So like I said, I don't necessarily have the equipment to do it full fledged at the moment. But I didn't want to let that stop me right now. So I've been doing Facebook Live videos. Hello, everyone. I know you only see me. You can see Justin here. So say hi.
What up?
But I've been doing that for my own betterment. Essentially, I wanted to start trying to podcast so I can get better myself.
Just talking on the Facebook Live already gets you better in the speech and the.
Exactly. I want to work on those vocal fillers that I know I'm awful at.
Hey, it's not easy. Like, it starts from the beginning. Like, I know and I just said, like, for example, when I first started,
you start thinking about it when you're talking about
every other word was or like, and I think I've cut it back a little bit, but I'm still not perfect, and I'm going to get perfect. That's why I keep doing it.
Yeah,
but I think that it's going to be great for you. I think it's going to be great for the audience that you create, and it's part of the thing that I've talked about with a couple other friends, which is I want to get you doing that, and I would love for us to create almost our own shared universe of a podcast or podcasts or videos on YouTube, and just like almost like a Barstool Sports or a Screen Junkies.
Yeah, look at Screen Junkies. They have so many different mediums of different videos and different.
And that stuff literally can become your career and your life, and it's something that you can do where you're doing we would put in 80, 90 hours a week, but it would be doing something we wanted to do, and it would be us putting in 80 to 90 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week. So you'd be doubling your work just to avoid that job that you don't want to go to.
It would be a hell of a 80 or 90 hours a week. It would be so much fun. Honestly, I can't see doing this and being upset.
Exactly. And so one of the things that I kind of touched upon when we were talking about that was the deep thoughts that we talk about and the goals that we have. And when I drive to work every day, I have about 20 to 25 minutes that if something just pops into my head, I go down the rabbit hole and I just start thinking about it. And this is one of the segments that I just started, which is we've done 2, and this is the 3rd one. I don't have intro music yet. I'm working on that. I got a buddy named Brad. Thank you, Brad, for working with me.
Thanks, Brad.
Brad Johnson. He's also the guy who created the theme song, the opening in it.
Which is awesome, by the way.
So
Thanks,
good.
Brad.
You're the best, dude. But this is the deep thought of the week, and this is something that I thought about on the way to work the other day. So, nose picking. Why the stigma? Like, why do we think it's disgusting? Why do we think it's something that is just so gross? Like, you see somebody picking the nose, you're like, that guy's picking his nose. There's a Seinfeld episode that is almost exclusively dedicated to it. And he was just itching his nose. He wasn't even picking. There was no penetration.
That's fantastic.
So my first point is, so people want to say Kleenex, which is actually tissue, because Kleenex is the corporate name of that. That is killing trees. So all of you out there that are super excited about, protecting the earth and saving Mother Earth and, all of that stuff, you're blowing your nose on Kleenex or tissues, that's killing trees right there. So what do you think about that?
That's a valid point. I do agree. I don't know what an alternative would be, like a safe, not tree hating.
That leads me right into the next thing: foreign objects. A pen,
like a pen,
or who knows, like a.
I'm sorry, but you're not gonna. You're not
Q-tip.
You're not. You're not gonna.
Those are dangerous.
You don't have any surface area with that, though. How are you gonna like?
Oh,
if you really gotta like snot rocket something out,
I've used it
into something.
I've used it to avoid those judging eyes. I've used a pen, just like nonchalantly, but it's not very nonchalant because you got a pin up your nose.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have a judgment about a pin up your nose, an entirely different reason. They're not even gonna think about he's just picking his nose. That's disgusting. No, why the hell does he have a pen up his nose? What the hell's wrong with him? That's the kind of judgment you're going to get.
So that's not even the point I was trying to make about the foreign object.
That's what I would think if I saw that.
Object I was thinking more was like doing damage to your nose. Nosebleeds, that's going to happen because you're going to maybe trip or stumble or. Am I walking while I'm picking my nose? Yeah, I am.
No, okay. Most people pick their nose in the car.
Exactly.
Most people pick their nose in the car. They're by themselves. They don't think people can see, but people can see. People
I have black tinted windows. People can't see.
No, come on.
I go to town.
You go to town on that nose, huh?
Yeah, dude. I try to get them all out in the car because when I get somewhere, I don't want them hanging out when I get there. So I'm just like, yeah, that's good. So yeah.
But what if you get like, okay, I'm gonna get real graphic here. What if you get a real wet one, and then you got to like roll it?
I've got something for that.
you got
roll the window down, hold it out, because the air dries it. It becomes more tactile or sticky, and then it rolls into a little ball, and you just throw it out the window. Perfect. I cannot come up with something better than the finger for picking your nose.
That's true. I mean,
does anybody on Facebook, if you have something better than your finger
listen to this.
To pick your nose, I want to know what that is. I'm sure there's something.
What is your preferred foreign object to pick your nose with?
Also, why the judging? I wish for a world that I can go into and I can pick my nose and nobody's going to say anything.
What's weird is, we're all judged for it, but everybody does it.
Yeah, everybody.
Everyone does. It's just one of those things. Like I said, everybody does it in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I do it in public. Because I'm trying to take that back. I want to go to a place where I can pick my nose, rub it on the ground, and walk away. Because I'm not going to rub it on something. I'm not going to put it on a hand railing. Because there are people that do that shit, and that's gross. And I can't do that.
But, okay, why is it gross? I'm going to ask you that because you're wondering about the stigma. Why is it gross? I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
It's their boogers. I don't want their boogers.
Okay.
So when I'm picking my boogers, though, I always put them into a trash receptacle.
So your own brand is fine. But.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just like I like the smell of my own farts. But I think everybody does. And that's another thing. But we're not going to go there. That's too far.
I was going to say, like, the stigma is probably compared to the stigma of flatulence, but everybody does it.
Yeah, everybody does. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on picking your nose, whether it's, I think it should be socially acceptable, but I don't know. Joe might have a different point, but I think it should be socially acceptable.
I mean, like I said, everybody does it. I do it. I'm not going to... I mean, when at my previous job, and it's a controlled temperatured environment.
You can't pick your nose with gloves.
Well, not with gloves. I'm just saying. I'm saying afterwards, it builds up and it gets black and it's gross because it's a controlled temperature environment. There's no ventilation and it's just
super dry.
Weird. It's so dry. It's absolutely dry. It happens. Whatever. A long night of drinking and you smoke too many cigarettes. The next morning,
lots of boogers.
And oh man, you just got to go to town.
Sometimes bloody boogers, and I hate those. And I get those when I smoke a lot.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm dying. Who knows?
Aren't we all?
So once again, thoughts. Facebook Live.
Thoughts on picking your nose.
Picking your nose. Tell me what you think. But what I want to move on to is something that we talked a lot about before the podcast, which is Joe's really into film and film critique. he had some stuff that he wanted to bring up that I think is very important, that I think you guys should listen to and maybe weigh in on as well on Twitter or Facebook. So go ahead and lead us into kind of the subject, because I was thinking we were going to debate something, but I don't think this is much of a debate.
Yeah, absolutely. My Twitter feed has been just outrageous for the past 2 or 3 days. And I think this is I think you guessed right. It was in Alamo, the Alamo Daff House Cinema, which is a movie theater.
That's a theater in Texas, correct?
Correct. Correct.
The Alamo. Are you kidding me?
Alamo,
Where
yeah.
do you think it's going to be? It's not in southern Indiana, I'll tell you that.
So they were doing a screening for Wonder Woman that is only for women.
I'm all for it. I'm going to go to a movie next door and wait for them to leave, and then try to hit on them on their way out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Now I'm being the asshole.
I'm talking about misogynist. Anyway, no. Honestly, that's a lot better than a lot of the tweets that I've seen in the past couple of days. So people are outraged about this.
Yeah.
Like there was a woman on. A woman, mind you, on Twitter.
I cannot believe this.
Who compared this women-only screening of Wonder Woman to Jim Crow laws. I'm sorry, did you hear that right? Compared a women-only screening of Wonder Woman to Jim Crow laws. Are you out of your mind?
I don't even know. I think that the world is broken.
They're comparing segregation to this. They're saying it's this. Absolutely not. Absolutely. And then there's all kinds of responses about, well, what if men did only men like screening of Thor or something like that? That's outrageous, because men are not oppressed in Hollywood. Men are doing the oppressing to women. Like women do not have the opportunity that men have, and it's an outrageous problem in Hollywood right now. And there's a clear and definite reason why women deserve this women-only screening, because it's a celebratory event. It's a victory.
You know what's hilarious though is the person probably putting this event on wasn't thinking like, I'm taking a step in the direction for women. They were probably like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's Wonder Woman, so let's do like an all-woman, screening. Like, this is going to be awesome. That's where we are all in trouble now with the internet and the way everybody is offended by things, because
ironically,
literally
it got quite a bit of marketing because of it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm 100% positive for that. And I just think that it's insane that people are ready, just waiting by the keyboard like, oh, I'm going to get this person. As soon as I see something, it offends me. And then they just go nuts. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't understand why you can't just enjoy something for what it is. That was
exactly
that was them putting on a show and sharing it with a group of women. You had mentioned, you could show it right next door in another theater.
There is legitimately a theater next door that you can go to and view this as a male.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't understand why we can't see the monumental victory this is for women.
Well, and to add to even that is the fact that, like, the people out there that are men and the women that also are on the side of let's bitch about this, you all are pussies now. Like, literally, you're a pussy, and I know that that's a misogynistic thing to say, but you are a loser that has nothing going for you if this is something that offends you, and you're just scared. Everybody is scared, and everybody is a victim, and everybody wants to be a victim. Like, they want to. I think it's because I do this podcast as a narcissistic thing. I want everybody to love me, and I want things to be great, and I want it to be all about me. But I also see that in everybody, and I also see the victim mentality, which I don't have the victim mentality. I've gone and done things that, oh, maybe it does feel like I'm getting picked on. But you know what? I don't really give a shit, because as soon as this is over, I'm on to the next thing I'm doing. So I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
But go back to the women in Hollywood, though, because I feel like the women in Hollywood, the point that I want to make to you is, if I was to write a screenplay, my first thought as a protagonist is not going to be a female lead. I mean, when I've read books, like I feel like very few books that I've read have a female lead, but the ones that I have read were awesome with the female lead. Mm-hmm. But when it comes from a personal experience that I'm writing from, I'm not writing from a female perspective. I'm writing from a male perspective. So
that's true.
I don't even think I want to try to write a female character first person point of view, because I don't think I could even delve into that kind of imagination and thought.
And that's okay, but that's not the problem. It's where are the female writers, and where are the opportunities for those female writers?
Yeah,
they're not getting them. It's because these the older class of producers in Hollywood right now are stuck in this world where all they want to do is make money. Mm-hmm. And men in a leading role, or men behind the camera, or men in a writing position, that's what makes money for them. And what's crazy, and they're stuck in that.
What's crazy is this just made me think about it. I just listened to the podcast that Adam Carolla does, mm-hmm. and he had the one of the writers from Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Oh, okay.
And she is a woman that is a writer. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because I see a correlation between this. They didn't talk about it on the show, but she went through 15 to 20 drafts of that script.
Oh, wow.
And then another guy got onto it to where they he took what she had written and wrote something, they kind of combined powers. And she was very amicable about it and very nice about it. She wasn't saying that he stole it from her or changed a ton of stuff. Because Adam Carolla asked the very good question, did anything, did you see the stuff that you wrote? Did you see that being played? Did you see that play out? And she's like, yeah, he really added some revelry and fanfare and stuff like that we didn't expect, making Benjamin Button be a tugboat captain.
Right.
But that's kind of resonating with me with the fact that movie didn't get picked up until A, Brad Pitt signed on, B, this guy wrote a script. And before that, it was in development hell. It was not going to get made. They didn't want to make it. They didn't think it was going to make money until that happened.
And also, that was Fincher, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was looking it up. And also David Fincher.
Fincher was the director. Yeah. That's what she was kind of talking about. Was once he got attached to it, he had actually had some really big success right before that, mm-hmm. and that's what led to the Curious Case, especially with Brad Pitt getting tagged on as well. Mm-hmm.
It's upsetting. It is. I think, and I've actually posted about this on my Facebook page and also on my Twitter.
At Joseph Leatherman.
Thank you.
Or Joe Leatherman. I think it's Joe Leatherman, my bad.
Yeah, Joe Leatherman. Only my mother calls me Joseph when she's upset with me. But my Twitter, which is an awful...
I like it.
I love it, but I never. When I made it, I didn't think that I would ever be speaking it verbally.
If you could cut out the underscores, you'd be good.
So I always say it's speaking vowels with underscores.
And for you guys out there that are listening, if you just search speaking vowels, it'll come up.
Did you try it?
I've tried it.
Okay,
it comes up.
That's good to know.
You don't even have to worry about the underscores.
For the record, I'm the biggest Fight Club fan in the world, so that's where it comes from. Yeah. The line, with a gun barrel between your teeth, you speak only in vowels.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Wow.
So.
That's actually very impressive. I didn't even put that together.
Yep.
Man, you're so much better at this shit than I am.
Oh, shut the hell up. But no, women.
Yeah. Yeah, we get on tangents.
I know, right? No, it's a travesty. It really is. It's shameful mm-hmm. that because I mean, legitimately, this isn't something that. To be completely honest, this isn't something that I've been so passionate about my whole life. I'm only 24.
I mean, you're not that much younger than me, but you're significantly younger than me.
Okay, I get it.
There's a lot of difference. I'm telling you, there's a lot of difference between 25 and 30. I'm telling you. And I'm not even 30 yet.
Fair enough. Anyway.
I'm telling you. Oh, you'll see it. It's coming for you.
Stop foreshadowing the rest of my life. I just lost what I was talking about.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I got it. So, So I posted this video. It was a TED Talk to my Facebook. It's by Alicia Malone, and she's one of my favorite reporters in film. She's absolutely outstanding, and she just I love her. She's on Screen Junkies, and she does a lot of reporting on Screen Junkies. But she did an absolutely amazing TED Talk, all about women in film. And literally the hashtag that she put was girls in film. And she talks all about, and she pulls out all kinds of statistics about the lack of opportunities for women in film, and it's just outrageous. And I seriously can't believe it. So I get it. I'm young, and this is not like I said, this is not something that I've been like passionate about my entire life, but I'm learning about it.
Yeah.
Very recently, in the last year, I've become exposed to it, and I understand it now, how bad it actually is. And now, and because film is the career that I want to go into, because I love film more than anything in the world, and that's the avenue that I want to pursue. I'm finally realizing that like I could do something about it.
Absolutely.
If I wanted, and I could be a part of making a change. And Alicia Malone even says it the best. I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me, but in the end of her TED Talk, she said she doesn't have all the answers of how to change it. She doesn't have the answers to change it, but change starts with a conversation. It starts with talking about it.
Everything starts with that.
Exactly. It starts with bringing this issue to light. That's it. That's how we make change.
Absolutely. Do you see yourself as something that you could write something that would have a female lead?
Funny thing is, the first full-length feature that I ever started writing, it's not even close to being finished, and it's been in a Word doc or a final draft doc.
Yeah.
Actually, for many years now. But the first short I ever wrote was a male lead, but the first full length script that I ever intended to write had a female lead, and this was before I
even thought about that.
Even thought about any of this.
And that's what impresses me about that, because I even talked to you and just 5 minutes ago said I don't think I could write from a perspective of a woman. So that's amazing that you have even thought about doing that. Mm-hmm. And be on the lookout, because Joe and I are going to try to do stuff together. I want you to keep me in mind. I'm not a good actor. I've never acted. Well, except for that one time. Nobody needs to know about that.
We talked about it a little bit on the last podcast I was on.
But I want to get into stuff. I want to just be involved with it, and I do want you to create and do things that we can share and talk about on this podcast. I think we're getting towards the segment of, I don't know if anybody's even commented on Facebook or said anything on Facebook or liked anything on Facebook.
I haven't seen anything on my end,
but
I see a lot of people watching. I'm so impressed with how many people actually tuned in.
But I appreciate you guys watching.
But
I'm going to go ahead and go over to the iPad and check it out. So,
But yeah, if you have any comments on my end, anything that you want us to talk about, it could be anything really. Just go ahead and comment. Don't be shy.
All right, so I'm moving this out and flipping it around.
I'm gonna go ahead and show you so everybody gets a taste of what you're doing. We haven't seen a lot of you on my feed.
Whoa!
What if we show my feed watching your feed? Wouldn't that?
Oh, that'd be like Feedception.
I was gonna say Inception, but you just trumped that.
Well, it looks like there aren't any comments, but that's okay. We are recording on a Saturday night in Indiana.
That's true.
On Memorial Day weekend. So,
Everybody's got a lot of stuff to do.
I appreciate everybody that did follow and did watch. I mean, that's great that you guys are participating. And once again, thank you for interacting. If you're literally watching and you are seeing us live or listening later, it's great. This podcast is one of my, biggest passions in my life right now. And, I want to thank Potter and Family because they are
We have one comment.
What
we have
is
one
it?
comment here.
I want to hear it.
It's from a buddy who actually I worked with on Open Sign.
Yeah.
With my film company, Marcus. He said all he said was, "What's up, Joe?"
Doing a podcast, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you for commenting. You're the single comment of this,
Absolutely.
this
I appreciate
podcast.
it.
But that's fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, Marcus. I appreciate it.
So once again, I want to thank the Potter and Family hashtag. You guys are the best. You guys have helped me become way bigger than what I was beforehand. I also want to thank Ripple Ride. Austin, I know you're listening.
I still have to write you a review.
And he's going to write you a review when he's done with this.
Yeah, maybe. Don't.
Maybe tomorrow. But anyways, if you are in the Broad Ripple area,
I will write one. I promise.
And you're from Indianapolis, and you guys want to have a good time, go out, ride a beer bike, and just have a fucking blast, like literally a blast.
It's a good time. It is a really good time.
Look up Ripple Ride Tours. They're on. You can Google it, and you can see them on Instagram. You can see them on Facebook. You can see them on Twitter. And just interact with them, talk to him. He can work you out a really good deal. And also use the promo code JUICE, because with Juice in the Morning, that'll help us both out.
What the hell? You have a promo code? That is the coolest thing ever.
Right?
I'm sorry.
I'm getting sponsored.
That is awesome.
I don't think there's any money involved yet.
But you get to say you have a promo code.
I have a sponsor.
That's the coolest thing.
And
that's awesome.
Also, I want to point you guys to, I just started doing Instagram a lot more. The Twitter's been blowing up. Facebook, you guys are watching, and I fucking love it. Thank you so much. I'm going to check the comments again because I've seen a couple, so I'll be right back.
And Justin's checking the comments, which means I should fill the dead space while he checks said
there is some that I didn't see.
Oh, he missed some. Okay, also,
so
Marcus said that I have no Saturday Night Live. That's okay, man. It's okay. You do you, buddy.
So, first of all, James Caird, I'm going to let you talk because I'm over here by the
all right.
iPad. Love these live videos. Very cool. Enter into the process of the podcast.
What was the name again?
James Caird.
James Caird said.
James also has his own Twitch.
Ooh,
James
Twitch.
also has his own Twitch account, which is underscore Joker or underscore IX Joker underscore IX. Thank you for listening and paying attention, Joker.
Oh, what a guy. I'm pretty sure he's downstairs.
And then also Amber Escarano, which is soon to be Amber Eaton.
Oh.
Jen's younger brother's fiance. She said the finger is the best.
The finger is the best.
Hands down.
Hands down. With the fingers that pick your nose, hands down.
And
that's
James also said that the podcast sounds a lot better, and I hope that you guys hear that production value. That's what I'm trying to get across. I've put up some dirty blankets and stuff that Jen's not very happy about, but seriously, it sounds better.
I can say firsthand, I just recently, want to talk about narcissism. I just recently went back and listened to the podcast that I was on talking about the strike, and listening to the more recent podcast, it's just night and day.
Just
the difference.
The
sound is so great. Oh my God, my phone's at 5%.
Well, once again, thank you for listening. You can find it on the Instagram at Juice in the AM, Twitter at Juice in the AM, Facebook. Just type in the search bar Juice in the Morning. You'll find it. Tell them where they can find you, Joe.
All right, you can find me I'm trying to push my Twitter the most. So find me on Twitter at Speak and Vows, and there's underscores in between there. That's the easiest way that I can say
If
that.
you search it, you'll find it.
Yeah, Speak and Vows, like I said.
Or Joe Leatherman.
Or, yeah, you can find me by Joe Leatherman. And find me on Facebook by the same name. Like I said, I'm going to be doing Facebook Live videos. It's kind of a soft launch as far as my podcast Gray Matter is concerned. I'm going to actually be making a separate Facebook page for Gray Matter here soon. So be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to build up people who are even interested in it.
And I will do everything I can to help with that, because
thank you.
I know that I don't have a whole lot of knowledge, but I'm a little bit ahead of you on that. So anyways, once again, thank you for listening. You guys are the best.
Also, real quick, let me say thank you so much for having me back on here. This has honestly been the highlight of my week.
It's literally one of the greatest. I mean, having my friends on is one of my favorite things. Like I haven't had a whole lot of strangers on, but I have had a stranger or two on. It's literally my favorite thing.
So yeah, no, I've been looking forward to this literally the entire week.
And I can't wait for you to get your stuff going, because we're going to start a network. I don't know what it's going to be called. It's not going to be called the Juice in the Morning Network. It's going to be called something way cooler than that. But Juice in the Morning will be a part of it, and so will Gray Matter. And then Cam Evans, whatever you put on there, will also be a part.
Like I said, I've been boasting about this on Twitter. We've got a lot of great ideas in the works.
Yep.
And
as soon as we're done with this, we're gonna drink some beer and write some notes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a lot. There's a lot of good stuff in the works, and I'm very, very excited about it. And there's a lot of passion that's backed behind it.
Yeah.
Which I know means that it's going to be great.
It will be. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being on, Joe.
Thank you so much.
That is it.